Citizen Cope live on Austin City Limits Radio. The album is Heroin and Helicopters. There's a part of your biography that I had to fact check this morning because I thought it was true, but then it's been so long, and I think this part has sort of maybe worked its way out of your biography, but you lived here. You spent time here, and you weren't performing in those days? You were mostly at home with a four-track?
I started like being inspired by making music, and I came and moved to Austin and was writing poetry and had like a little drum machine and a four-track and spent a lot of time just listening to records and developing kind of my craft here early on in the 90s.
Was this a particularly useful place to do that? Or that sounds like something you could do anywhere, but
It was good. I'd never lived. I used to come to Texas in a small town called Vernon, Texas, every summer, and I never got a chance to live in Texas, year round. So I'd always loved coming to Austin. So it was a good thing. I used to buy and sell tickets to concert and sporting events. So I was able to make money during the UT football games and go up to the Dallas Cowboys games, and then I'd have the rest of the week free to make music.
and that was almost pre-internet, and it was definitely before print your own tickets. So you were out there doing the old school scalping.
Oh yes, it was back when you could get arrested for it, and it wasn't the internet companies didn't make it okay.
Do you oddly have respect for the guys outside of your shows now?
Oh yeah.
Because you know the game.
I know most of them.
You also briefly went to Texas Tech, which is in the news.
Yes, Texas, Reckham Tech. I was wondering if Austin was going to be behind them tonight, or if all right.
There's your straw poll right there.
Right.
Yeah. This record has its share, and we heard one of them earlier, of what are pretty basic protest songs, given the times we live in. On the other hand, and while you've made protest songs over the years and never been shy about stepping forward with ideas, there's always a right turn towards positivity in each of those, and that's by design.
Well, thank you. I think a protest song is something like the river that I played. Some people might think it's a protest record, but it's not really based on any kind of political affiliation or anything. So it's not. I consider it more like dealing with my own personal things as well, my own personal demons or personal struggles or personal achievements or highlights, and it can be looked at, or the government or the man or the system doing that, and then it can also be looking as you doing something to yourself a lot of times.
But these are divided times, and an interesting time to be a guy that's as folk-based and as tradition-based as you started off.
Yeah, I mean, I was always inspired to write something that had something to do with the human spirit and people's basic human feelings during a time. I think any great songwriter can kind of feel the pulse of what's going on with other people in the world.
A couple months ago, I was at this weird, and I'm admitting this on the radio, I was at this show. It's called G4, and it was Yngwie Malmsteen and Nuno Bettencourt and Zakk Wylde, and it's this big guitar fest. And Zakk Wylde and Nuno Bettencourt played your song Sideways, which was totally out of left field.
You know, a couple people, wrote me about that and said, "Hey, do you know they're doing this?" and sent me videos of it, and I thought it was amazing, and I never got a chance to say anything to either one of them, but I appreciate that they covered the song.
And Santana covered that same song.
Yes.
So that's a song that oddly reverberates with big guitar players.
Yeah, I guess so.
And Santana also, by conversation name this record. And as
Yeah,
cliche as that is, I think when people hear heroin and helicopters, they want to know that story.
yeah. It's basically when I first met Carlos Santana at the Fillmore in San Francisco. He came up and said to watch out for the two H's, and I was, what are the two H's, Carlos? And he said heroin and helicopters. You know, they kill people. And I think the helicopters part was because of Bill Graham and Stevie Ray Vaughan. So, uh, so I think that was just a twist on that. But I felt it being a poignant kind of time because we're dealing with addictions now to all different types of substances, but also to conflict, to cell phones, to social media, and then the helicopter part. I think our culture is always seems like it's leaning toward being in a rush to get somewhere without enjoying the journey, and including myself. And so I think it was helicopters like a decadent but dangerous way to get somewhere really fast.
Scooters are the new helicopters.